What's up, everybody? So we're back out in the shop with another Shop Talk Tuesday, and in this episode we're forging a knife. Now, what are we forging it out of? Really big coil spring. So in the other ones that we were working on, that was a much smaller coil spring that was only about 5/8 of an inch in diameter, and this is just over 1 inch. So we should be able to get a pretty good size knife out of it. Now, I'm not going to try and forge this whole entire thing into a flat bar. I went ahead and cut a chunk of it off and attached a handle to it so I could forge with it. Now, I don't know exactly how big of a knife this is going to be because I've never worked with bar stock this big. So we're going to kind of just play it by ear or eye or however you want to say it. But we're going to make it happen, and we're going to forge a knife, and then this is going to be the test part so that I know how big of a knife out of how big of a section that I can forge moving forward. Now, it's going to be a integral bolster hidden tang knife, so only about this much of it is going to be bolster and tang, so should be a pretty big knife. I don't know, but a little bit of story time about how I got this steel right here. I was walking around Blade Show, Texas, like not this year, the year before, and I'd been talking to Jason Knight. I think this is the year that he subscribed to my YouTube channel, which was kind of cool. He's probably never watched any of my videos, but he subscribed. He's one of my subscribers. That's kind of cool. But we were at a booth, and he was looking at a coil spring like this. They had a couple of them there, and they were like telling us all about it and how they had it tested, and it was like really pure 5160. It was virgin steel that had never been used, which is pretty cool because most of the coil springs that you have like this have been used for years and years and years, and you risk having like micro fractures and cracks and stuff like that when you go to heat treat it. But they were like, it's never been through any of that abuse. It's just nice, pure virgin 5160, which is awesome. They were selling chunks like this right here for $20 to $25 a piece, and he just randomly was like, yeah, that guy's got a YouTube channel, you should let him try it, he'll probably use it on his channel. And they just gave me the chunk for free. So even though you'll never watch this, Jason, thank you for the free coil spring. Guys, let's go ahead, let's jump into this, and let's make this into a knife and see how big of a thing we can forge out of it. Let's get it. Now, something that I'm going to do slightly different on this one is I'm going to forge in the point first. So we're going to hang it off the end here, or just at the edge. We're going to use a rounding hammer, it's a round side. And we're just going to forge just behind where I cut it off. Alright, so the whole point behind forging with the rounding side of the hammer on just behind the cut edge is we're trying to mushroom that out so we don't get fish lips all inside here. So it's starting to push out like that. And then we'll just keep bringing it in to the point and then go from there. Now we can just flip to our flat side of our rounding hammer. And that's enough of a point for now, right there. So now what we're gonna do, at least what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna go ahead and flatten two sides of it. So not this, I'm just gonna end up flatten where it's parallel with my handle here and flatten this out going into our little bolster area so that whenever I come in with our, we gotta grab it real quick. When I come in, I'm probably not gonna use this hammer, I'm probably gonna use the other one, but I wanna be able to stretch it. It's a lot easier to stretch if I have it flat. So I'm gonna flatten just a section of it, and then we're gonna start stretching it out and actually giving us that blade section, and then it'll start isolating the bolster area when we start doing that. Now that I have that area flattened, I am going to go ahead and kind of isolate where the bolster is going to be. I'm going to come to here. And I'm forging on this area where it matches the bevel on my hammer here. So I decided to just make my life a little bit easier because I'm newer to these, that I would go ahead and forge a little bit of the step down into the tang, so I knew exactly where that needed to be material wise, because I'm still wider than I want the bolster to be, so it should be fine to modify stuff after this. So I've been using my two different rounding hammers, but now I'm going to use my straight peen and pinch and stretch it. Remember, whenever you're doing these steps, to hammer on both sides to keep your tang center, keep your blade center, things like that. Now, I'm going to end up grinding in the shoulders here. So the actual tang starts here and runs through. So we've got about just over a 2-inch tang. We're going to stretch it a little bit more, and then that's about it. Now that we got our tang figured out there, we can go back to isolating that bolster, forging from each side. Again, I'm using the area that matches my straight peen here. Alright, so now it's time to start pulling. We have our bolster kind of isolated. We want to start coming in here and start pulling this material down. You see I left the center beefier than here because I'm going to be putting a belly on it, so it's going to have a nice curve, and I want that material there to be able to spread out. Using our cross peen, we're just going to come in and we're just going to start pulling. Again, both sides. See, and the reason why I talk about flattening it out, because while we're doing this, the steel tends to move a lot of different places, and if this was still round, it would move even more. So we're starting to really pull it out. And one of the things to remember is I'm really just focusing on keeping things even here. I'm not worried about deforming the heck out of the steel here and putting dents and dings in it. I'm going to end up smoothing all that out later. So right now I'm just trying to move it where it needs to go. Now we're going to drop it off the edge here and drop that cutting edge down. And all I'm doing is hammering kind of like on and in front of the bolster area here. That just drops the edge down. Of course, now what we're going to do is we're going to use our rounding side of the hammer, and we're going to move all the material in all the directions. So using that rounding, every time I hit, spreads 4 ways. So I hit here, it's going to spread up, out, and down. We're just going to do that all the way down the blade and start refining the blade a little bit. And then we'll end up doing a few different things with cross peens and straight peens as we go through it. So now we're going to go ahead and start stretching out this way, and then after that we'll start stretching back from top to bottom. And of course I'm using the straight peen to do this part. Now we're going to start drawing it down from top to bottom again using our cross peen. And now I'm going to come in this area here. I'm going to forge this section down. I left it thicker right there. And then on this next heat, I'm going to come in and I'm going to forge from here back with a straight peen, and it's going to pull this whole area back here. So move the steel this way. And then we'll put it on the edge again, drop it down again. So now we're going to take the flat side of our rounding hammer and just get to our desired thickness on the blade. Put it down a bit. All I'm doing right there is just forging in a distal from here to there before I end up forging in the bevels. So I'm going to come in here one more time and draw this heel down just a little bit more. Now that I got the blade for the most part where I want it, I can start refining this bolster area a little bit. Then we'll start rounding it off. I know that I need to make it a little bit thinner and then start rounding it. So I'm still working on this bolster a little bit. I still got to straighten the blade, but I'm just trying to keep it round. I don't have a ton of heat in it right now because I'm just trying to more or less planish it. I'm trying to round it and make it to where I don't have to do any work to it on a 2x72. Before we get into straightening the blade, I need to get this tang situated. Now, not all this bolster is going to stay on here. Only about half that bolster is going to be there. So the rest of this is going to be tang. And I'll do that on the 2x72. Bringing that in and squaring off those shoulders. But for right now, our tang is centered and drop down to where it's even in this area. Now we can go ahead and grab it by the tang and be able to move our edge over. So now we're just going to come in with our straight peen and just bring that edge over. We're going to bring it over onto, again, that area that matches the hammer. And we're just going to draw it over. And we can go ahead and clean up the bolster area while we're doing this. Now we're just going to come in with the blade a little cooler. It's hotter than it looks like in the camera, but still pretty cool. And refine the blade. So now that we got the forging part done, we're going to go ahead and hop on the 2x72. We're using a used 36 grit belt here. We're going to grind the profile a little bit, clean up some things, remove a little bit of material, and actually get to the profile that we want it to be. So let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so got it profiled. Now I'm just going to go ahead and remove the forge scale with some 30% vinegar. Only need enough to just cover the blade. Now I'll tell you this is super strong vinegar. It has a very strong odor, and you want to do this with your doors open and things like that. But we're going to let it soak for about 12 hours, and we're going to be cleaning it off every, let's say, about 3 to 4 hours. We'll go ahead and scrub it and try and get any of the forge scale off. There's a lot of forge scale on the blade right now, so we're just going to let it sit, do its thing, and then we'll go ahead and clean it all up. But we're going to go ahead and do that. We won't pull it out completely until tonight, and right now it's about 10 a.m. So about 10 o'clock tonight we'll be done with it. Alright guys, let's go ahead and wrap this Shop Talk Tuesday up here. Now, I would say this was a success. I really like the profile of this, and once I actually do the bevels to it, the profile is going to make even more sense with how I have it shaped and all that. It's going to be awesome. So next week's video, we're going to do bevels. We're going to refine the tang because this isn't the actual size of the bolster. It's going to be about half that. We're We're going to do Maker's Mark. We're going to put the actual finish that's going to go on here. I am going to be hand sanding this blade, and then we're going to be doing a finish after that. So it's going to be really awesome looking, beautiful. It's going to have a nice transition line between nice clean bevels and this texture that's up here. But I really feel like this was a success. I love the way that this area, put it like this, looks right there. Just this whole entire area going in here is all forged. And I love how this rounds all the way from up here all the way down into the heel on both sides. And I think that turned out real nice. Our integrals look good. Are they perfect? No, but you can tell that I forged them and they're still clean. Blade's super thick. It's over 1/4 of an inch right here. It goes down to a nice taper all the way to the tip there. But I really like how this turned out, and I want to know what y'all think about it. Was this video helpful? Do you think you might try this in the future? I'm always interested to know those things. And maybe what would you do to change it? Now, before I start wrapping up the video, there's something I want to talk about. I started one of those like members thing where you have a membership with the channel. It's kind of like Patreon, but it's through YouTube. It's a little bit easier. You don't have to go to another app to do a thing, to interact with me. It's just through YouTube. I think there's 2 levels. One, you get like, I'm going to be doing lives and doing things like that throughout the month. So you'll get more interaction with me. And it's going to be through actual YouTube lives to where I can actually see your messages and things like that and talk with y'all. So you're going to get those plus a few other things within that level. Now, if you decide to do like the VIP version of it, you actually get a one-on-one call with me every single month. Now, it could be a video call, it could be a regular phone call. You can actually show me what you're working on at that point, and I can help you work through certain things. If you're in a roadblock, I can talk to you about certain things. We can just sit there and talk and, you know, not even talk about knives. We can do whatever you want during that 30-minute phone call, and you get that every single month. And you can use it at any point during the month. It doesn't have to be at the beginning, the end, the middle, it doesn't matter. All you got to do, message me, let me know you want to chat. We'll break it down, we'll chat, we'll talk about what you want to talk about. I think it's going to be pretty cool because it lets y'all interact with me on a more of a one-on-one basis to where I can actually, you know, hopefully help y'all out. Or, like I said, just talk and chat, say what's up. So, you know, definitely go check it out. I think there's going to be like a link or a little button that you can click on underneath the video. Hopefully, that's the way it goes. But we'll figure that out as we figure it out. I just launched it yesterday, or technically today, which most of y'all probably haven't seen yet, but go check it out, guys. That's it. That's my little spiel. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there. I'll catch y'all next time.